Hello and welcome everyone to this short Yin Yoga class where we'll be focused on really deeply releasing into the psoas muscle, the hip flexors, as well as the front of the thighs and quadriceps. I'll be showing you a couple of options with or without the help of 2 yoga blocks, so it's entirely up to you whether or not you'd like to keep some nearby. And we'll get started in Sphinx pose. So coming onto your stomach, releasing onto your forearms with the palms turned down, rolling the shoulders back and sliding the shoulder blades down your back with the heart facing forwards. And this is an opportunity right away for us to widen the legs a little bit. We don't want any tension into the lower back. So if you need to lessen the intensity, you can walk your forearms forwards a little bit. If you would like to deepen the intensity, you can also take seal pose by turning the palms out towards the front corners of your mat with the thumbs facing roughly forwards and lifting the forearms off of the mat. And if you are somewhere in between, you also have the option of resting your forearms onto blocks. So choose whichever variation you'd like to hold as we come to deepen our breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Maybe even thinking about steering our breath towards the psoas muscle. Such an important muscle, the only muscle that connects the upper and lower body. So important in the movement of the legs, hips, lower back. Attaches to our lower back, behind the body. Goes through the pelvis and attaches within the groin towards the front of the hip. So this is a wonderful muscle to work on releasing. If you had lifted your forearms, you can start to gently, slowly lower them down. If you were using any blocks, you can shift them out of the way. And let's press into the hands to lift ourselves up towards an all fours position. Simply rocking the hips from side to side like your hips were a big pendulum, tracing gentle semicircles. You might progressively start to make those semicircles, a little bit bigger, maybe grazing your heels as you move back. Allowing ourselves to release from that first posture. And bringing yourself back towards all fours, coming towards dragon pose. So stepping the right foot forwards to the outside of the right hand. Shuffling that back knee back any amount so that we can really allow the front of this left hip to sink towards the mat. And here you can be up on fingertips or flat palms. You can also use blocks here to give you a little bit more space if the floor is feeling especially far away. And it's up to you whether you keep that right foot facing forwards, or you can also slightly turn it out towards the right and let that knee fall away from you. And sometimes that does give us a little bit more space to allow the front of the left hip to drop further. Remembering that in Yin Yoga we are not forcing anything, never pushing towards anything that is too uncomfortable or painful. Looking for a subtle intensity where you can feel a stretch is happening, but it's not overwhelming. And this is the space where we can find release. And only if you would like to experiment with a different option here, you might start to bend into that left knee, and you might reach back with your right hand to catch the top of that foot. If that is absolutely not happening for today, leave it out. That just means you've found a better stretch somewhere else. And if you were holding the foot, gently let it go and return your right hand to the mat, and very softly just rock forwards and back, a fairly small movement here, just to let that go. And then replanting both hands to back that right knee up, finding hands and knees again, and tracing a few more of those semicircles with your hips. And coming back to center. Stepping the left foot forward now for our dragon pose. Staying up on fingertips, flat palms, using blocks. You don't even have to take the same option as on the first side. Maybe you back that right knee up ever so slightly. Maybe you turn the left foot out a little bit and let that knee fall open. Wherever you are, what we're looking for is encouragement of the front of the right hip towards the earth. And this can be a very intense posture for many of us, myself included. Psoas tends to be very tight for those of us who spend a lot of time seated. Our whole body is going to reap the benefits of us doing this release work today. For our final moments in this pose, you have the same option as on the first side, which would be to bend into that right knee and reach back to let the left hand perhaps find the foot. Try it out or leave it out. Either way, keep encouraging the front of that right hip to sink. If you had hold of the foot, release. Left hand back to the mat. Turn the left foot forwards. Back your hips up and then bring them forwards a few times. This is a gentle motion, not necessarily your full range of motion, more of a release. And coming back to all fours, tracing a few final semicircles here. Perhaps noticing if these ones already feel a little bit different. And then coming to take a seat on your mat and coming towards a half saddle pose. Big opener for the front of the thigh. So our left leg is going to stay extended out in front of us. And we're going to help the top of that right foot to come towards the mat. So this is pretty individual. You might need to bring your knee out a little bit towards the side so it's more the inner right foot that comes towards the mat. So take your time to find what works for you here. And you could stay up tall. You might already be feeling a lovely stretch into that thigh. And this could be a great place to stay. You might start to lean back any amount. You could come onto forms. You could rest on your blocks. Or you might rest all the way down onto your back. We don't want too much pressure into the knees, so really being honest and open with yourself about which of these options works best for you today. The left leg could stay extended. You could also bend it and place that foot on the mat. The breath is smooth and steady. Let's take just one more deep breath here. Inhale. Might even feel nice to sigh it out. And I encourage you to be really gentle with yourself as we come out of this one. So if you had lowered down, taking your time to lift up slowly. Your right hand can help free up that leg, and it's probably going to feel really nice to shake it off. Beautifully done. And for the second side, bringing the top of your left foot close to your left hip, or any other variation. Maybe that foot is slightly turned out. Maybe the leg is a little bit more out towards the side. Maybe up on fingertips, palms. Might be elbows or blocks. Or all the way down. Once again, it does not have to be an identical option as to the one you chose for the first side. We are not perfectly symmetrical beings, and I believe our yoga practice should reflect that. And just like before, we'll come out really slowly. Each in our own time, lifting all the way up. Eventually freeing up that left leg so we can extend it and shake it out. Then coming to take any comfortable seat. To roll the shoulders back. And take a moment just for yourself of gratitude for doing something to honor your body and mind today. And with a soft smile, let's sweep the arms up overhead. The palms can touch. And then exhale to bring them down to the front of your heart. And thank you so much. I would love to know what you thought of this Yin Yoga class for the Psoas. Well done. I do have a short video that really teaches you a little bit more about the Psoas, so I'll leave that over here on screen if you have a few extra minutes and you'd like to learn more. Have a beautiful day.